could turn up and steal your eyes.
And we are
This is
live.
insane.
There we go. Hello, Twitch.
Ooh.
So let us zoom into this a little bit. So we have that there. So we are currently missing one of our players for temporary purposes. They will be joining us momentarily, as it were. For now, though, we will begin with the session, although we will begin with an apology for last week's. Anyone who was here last week, or if you're watching this on YouTube later, the reason why you can't see last week's session is because there was horrendous audio problems, and it turns out I'm an idiot. Hopefully those should be all fixed this week. If you do happen to notice any problems, though, do feel free to drop a message into the chat, scream at me, do whatever it takes to get my attention, and I will rectify it as soon as possible. Hopefully everything is set up correctly, though. So we'll begin this week by just quickly recapping for the viewers at home the characters that we have. So we'll go bottom right to top left in order here. So we have me first of all, who's playing a redacted rogue thief. We do not know his race as yet. If you want to tell us a little about your character there.
Just a little person, cloak. Scared daily about.
Right. Gilroy, if you could tell us about your half-elf grave cleric.
Gilroy is a half-elf cleric. He's he's nice. He's very shy. He's kind of soft-spoken. He'll do whatever he can to kind of help the party, and he just kind of follows along and keeps everyone alive with a smile, I guess. Although it's hard to do that in Barrovia.
Yeah.
But he tries. That's the important part.
We'll get back to Venom when she arrives. So Ravenheart, your Kenku druid.
Yeah, Ravenheart is also very soft-spoken, sort of nature-based male Kenku druid who used to live in the woods with his master Luke until we were whisked away to Barrovia, and isn't too much to say, except he's had a rough past that he's trying to forget and put behind him, but things always end up pointing back to it.
Awesome. And Malika, your dwarven rogue.
Yeah, so Malika is originally from the world of Eberron, mostly from the city of Sharn, but she has sort of travelled around for her work. She is a smuggler belonging to sort of like a crime syndicate back home, but she's not like your typical sort of smuggler for reasons which I'm sure will become uncovered as the campaign progresses. But yeah, she's quite fun. She wants to be an idealist, but she's seen too much.
Okay, and last but by no means least, we have Apricot, the Vidalcan artificer.
Yes. Apricot, she's from a high society background, lived on the plain of Ravnica. She hasn't seen much of what the world entails, having spent a lot of her years basically in the house where she lives with her dad. And she spent most of her time discovering her artificer powers, I guess. And she made her wonderful steel defender Bebe in that time. So she's she tries to be nice, but she can get a bit irritated if people think that she's too high and mighty. Or I think Malika called her princess last week, and she didn't like to take offense to such things.
Mal calls it like she sees it.
Pretty much.
So yeah, she's kind of half happy and half unsure about the whole thing because she's like, well, adventure. This is, what I've been trying to do but not been allowed to. But at the same time, I don't know where the fuck I am or who the hell you guys are. So
Pretty much, yeah.
I love
So, yeah. So,
You picked up off the street.
so since we have Venom with us, Venom, if you could just quickly tell us about your variant tiefling monk.
I can, actually. I can do just that. So, he's about 5.5 foot tall, maybe a little more with the horns. Wears sort of a very simple barmaid's outfit. She has brown furry goat legs and a long red leather tail that is actually it is forked and split at the end, much like her tongue. Face is covered in piercings, and she stinks of whiskey and brimstone.
Sounds
I mean, I feel like
She's really hoping she can get some stuff done here, but she doesn't know what here is, so...
I don't think anyone knows where here is. But I feel like now you've
It's all
described
guesswork.
I think
Venom,
I know.
I should point out that Apricot is like 6.5 feet tall with a wig and 6 fingers on each hand.
The 6-fingered
Whenever Venom's around Apricot, they do actually like kind of push themselves up just a little bit.
She doesn't realize she's taller than why she's like, she knows she's taller than humans and she's met humans before and a couple of vampires, which could come in handy. But most of the people she meets are other Vidalkans, so she's just like normal height,
Actually, quite short where I come from.
Yes, how is Apricot handling being around all these short people?
She's
I imagine I'm the smallest of the group then.
How tall is your character?
Probably is.
There we go. So, yeah. So that's all of our characters there. So, yeah, so last week, albeit we had no audio really, for pretty much all of the session, we spent about an hour getting to know each other and finalising characters and things like that. And then the other hour was spent kind of like in the very, very beginning of Barrovia, just getting into the land itself. And we'd only just gotten through the main gates of Barrovia when we ended last week, having seen a rather peculiar figure on top of the gates welcome them to Barrovia and then explode into a ton of bats and fly away.
Which Apricot was very much of the opinion, oh, there are vampires here.
Indeed.
I just started banging my head on over no reason.
Because they're very normal where he lives. She will have seen them coming into her house and talking to her father about mostly money, because that's what the
Indeed.
Orzhov do.
So, yes, we start this week's session having just gotten through the gates of Barrovia, and they slammed shut behind you guys when you got in there. So you now are stood in front of the closed gates with the road leaning onwards, and the forest is now back either side of you as well. There are trees, not as many though.
No, pretty sure that gate is firmly shut, unless, I don't know, any of you are feeling up to kicking it down.
I'm not so strong.
Careful you get back over the wall.
I think we should probably move on.
Forwards is an optimal direction.
I mean, what are our options? Go back to the forest, which kind of seems like a bit of a non-answer, or we could try and find out where the heck that... I'm guessing vampire, right? We're all thinking vampire.
He was definitely a vampire. Believe me, I've met several of them before. She's very casual about this, as if, it's not weird.
This is
Mal
perfectly
kind of
normal.
looks at her and just kind of like, huh.
Do you hunt vampires then?
No, they run our monetary establishments. Oh, most of them are affiliated with yourself, who run the banks and tax collecting and that sort of thing.
I,
So you're a banker, is what you're saying.
I suppose.
She's a simple person. What do you want from her?
No, two things about money. How to steal it and how to spend it.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty fair. It's pretty fair.
Pardon me.
I would prefer the forest, but I doubt it's safe.
I don't
sure
think.
anything is safe right now.
And judging by the sounds of the gate, I doubt we could displace it, even if we all throw ourselves against it at once. So onwards, possibly.
Onward.
So we're just heading onwards along this road then.
I believe so.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. So, you're heading along the road for, I don't know, maybe only another 20 minutes or so. When Malika, your senses kind of pick up, you pick up a scent on the air, and it's the distinct smell of death.
Cool. Is anyone else smelling this, or just me?
Just you for now.
Just me for now. Interesting. Okay. As soon as Mal gets a whiff of that, she kind of like stops dead, and she's kind of like wrinkles her nose and kind of screws her face, and then she's looks extremely grim all of a sudden. And she sort of turns to the rest of the party, and she's like, can anyone else smell that?
Smell what?
Apricot kind of sniffs and.
So, since it's been brought to your attention, anyone who wants to can roll a perception check to see if they can pick up this scent as well.
Yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot.
Don't smell it.
Ooh, actually, I'll definitely give it a shot. I got +5 for perception.
Let me just get. My...
What?
Okay, sorry.
19 plus 5, 24.
I'll just quickly go ahead and do the same. That's a 3 plus.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a 6.
I was a natural 1. So Apricot can't smell anything.
Yeah, so did any...
I love the implication that there's like a death smell, which is a pretty distinctive smell, and the rest of you just sort of like, nope, smells fine.
Kilroy has smelled the dead before.
Did anyone get over a 15?
24.
A 24, yeah, so you'll be able to pick it up as well. So it is a fairly faint smell at the moment, but you do get the sense of death as well from there.
Oh, yes, I smell that as well. I'm quite used to it. Being great cleric.
Yeah, right, okay. I mean, on the one hand, glad that I'm not, hallucinating after everything that happened in the mist. On the other hand, not really a smell that I want to be smelling, if you get my meaning.
Can I quickly have Luke roll for it as well?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so he should have a perception +3. Let's see if I roll another 3 then. Bollocks, it's 6. So 9.
Yeah, so Luke wouldn't be able to get that either.
They've only got 14. That's irritating. Because you wanted 15 or more.
Yeah, it was fair.
Can I use Eyes of the Grave? As an action, I know the location of any undead within 60 feet. That's total cover. And isn't protected from divination magic until the end of my next turn. I can use it 3 times for long rest.
Yeah, you can use that. You do not sense any undead in the area, though.
No. Darn.
I mean, I'm assuming when you said dead, you mean like whatever spooky grave magic you got, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's almost like I can see them. Skeletons and zombies and things like that. But I don't see anyone, at least not anyone close to it. No, I think we're safe for now, although that spell is rather strange, isn't it?
Now, to him, like, and then after a long moment, she's like, yeah, we'll go with strange. And she kind of like pats his elbow. And then she kind of like sighs, and she's like, right, well, I'm guessing if you're not sensing actual walking around undead, we've probably got a body. Maybe more than one body, but I'm really hoping it's just the one.
Oh.
Shall we keep going?
I mean, two options. We all keep going, and the person who made the body is still lying in wait, and we get ambushed. Or one of us sneaks ahead, scouts things out a bit, comes back and reports.
I'm not really a fan of the idea of splitting up.
I just run head on in.
Oh, well.
Okay, so as you head along the road, you get about maybe 100 feet down the road, and you pick up the smell as well, and it's just this horrendous smell of death that you pick up. You can follow the smell if you'd like to see where it leads.
Do we go after him?
I've smelled this before. I never saw what it was. Trying to find out what it is.
So the scent itself actually leads you to what appears to be a human corpse, half buried in the underbrush. It's about 15 feet from the road as well. And the young man appears to be a commoner. His woolly clothes torn and raked with claw marks. The crows have also been at the body as well, which is just starting to rot away. And it's surrounded by paw prints. The man himself has obviously been dead for several days, hence the smell, and he holds a crumpled envelope in one hand.
Mal has no compunction about approaching a dead body and rifling through its pockets, so she steps forward and, as delicately as she can, removes the envelope.
Oh, did
Okay.
you follow me then? I thought we were still waiting. Like, me ran off.
certainly
Did you
followed.
follow? I didn't hear if anyone followed.
Oh, yeah.
Following and nobody answered me.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. I assumed that we were all going.
I didn't even hear you say that either.
Yeah, all I heard was me running off, and then I didn't realise we'd all followed.
That was my bad. I think my brain was just kind of like, oh yeah, okay, so fine, we're all going then.
Yeah, well, like I said, Apricot did ask, "Are we following?" And then got no answer.
Venom wouldn't have answered anyway. She would have just walked off.
This.
I mean, yeah, I'll
All
follow
one
if
point
everybody
down the
else
road,
kind of
Venom does
follows
like a
also.
list all the way to the side before righting herself as well. Quite a bit.
Okay, so on the envelope itself, you see it is sealed with a traditional wax seal. And it's a relatively small envelope, I think containing probably a letter is the most likely contents of the envelope itself.
I studied the seal hardly.
What was the seal, sorry?
I studied the seal.
Okay, it's not a seal that you've ever seen anywhere before. It's not one that you would recognise as being a prominent seal of any lords or ladies that you are familiar with.
Did you say there were paw prints around the body?
There was, yes.
Are they large paw prints or like little tiny little pug paw prints?
They're about the size of a human fist. Quite large.
So, um, does anyone else see these down here? Oh.
See what?
Keep your hair on. I see them, I think. Ooh. Blimey, they're big, aren't they?
Ooh. They don't look like a dog. Maybe something rather large.
Can I roll to investigate, maybe, to find out if I recognize them anywhere, if I've seen those before?
Yeah, you can roll an investigation check.
Okay.
I have no, so you can't roll for anything.
That is a 15.
So with a 15, you would think your best guess would be some kind of large wolf.
They do seem kind of similar to wolves. Possibly a bit large, but similar.
Big on my PFP.
I've dealt with worse than wolves.
Yes.
Fine.
I mean, clearly this poor sod didn't.
Oh.
You're right there.
So, should we see what's in that letter then?
Well letter.
Oh, look.
Well, we found a letter on it.
Mal kind of nods. Yeah, she kind of nods in Me's direction, since apparently he's studying the seal intently.
Yeah, so you want to break the seal and open the envelope, yeah?
Sure.
So this is the letter that you find. It's dated about a week ago, and it reads, "Hail thee of might and valour. I, the Burgomaster of Barrovia, send you honour with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irina Kolyana, has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 400 years this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now my dear Irina languishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this vile beast. He has become too powerful to conquer. So I say to you, give us up for dead and encircle this land with the symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barrovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves, and save the world from this evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life." And it's signed a Kolyan Indirovich.
The holy men and graves, that's you. Treasure, that's me.
The bit about where it says, return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. It doesn't sound very positive, does it? I'd rather return alive, not departed.
I mean, just going off every single word in that letter, don't think any of it sounded much positive. And I never got much formal schooling, but I like to think that I'm pretty good at spotting when something's going south, and this is something that definitely went really south.
Oh, it would seem.
Does the road lead anywhere? Like, are we on a road, or is it just...
You're still on the road. I mean, you're about 15 feet from the road is where the body is. But you can still see the road quite clearly heading onwards.
Is there any, like, a sign of civilization? Any lights or anything in the distance or anything like that?
Not that you can see, no.
Where did he come from, do you think?
Where did he go?
Well, that's another good
Where
question.
did he come from?
Don't say it. Don't.
I'm so hoping someone would cast me a short courage and confusion.
I would never do that. I would never actually. What's the
Got
word?
one line out of me, you're not getting the rest.
Help you out that way. I don't know
Do
what
the
word
do
is,
these
but-
do these supposed wolf prints lead anywhere?
They don't seem to, no. They essentially come from the road to the body, sharing the body, and they kind of get lost on the road itself.
Are there just wolf prints,
do the
or
trees look-
is there anything else, or
Uh,
any other
y-
footprints, or any carriage prints, or maybe?
There aren't any footprints or carriage prints around the body itself. There is on the road. There is the carriage lines have been coming since before you came through the gate, but you don't see any other marks of human footprints or anything.
Okay.
Should we bury the body?
What do the trees look like?
Oh.
The trees are pretty much the same ones that you saw back in the forest where you first started. But you're not able to make out, like, identify any particular trees as such.
Okay.
Do they look like they could be climbed?
They could definitely be climbed, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Can Apricot attempt to climb one? Do a
Yeah.
whole Bilbo Baggins thing?
Yeah. Do you have a climber's kit?
Don't think so. No.
No.
It's not something that I purchased.
No. So you need to make a either an acrobatics or an athletics check.
What am I better at? Well, I've got +2 to acrobatics, so I'm gonna go with acrobatics. Because, So it's a 19 total.
Yeah, with a 19, you're able to scramble up the tree easily enough there.
When I get to the top, can I see anything?
You can see mist out as far as it goes. From where you are, though, you can see the very edge of this forest that you're in, just to more grasslands.
Town or any indication of what direction we should go in?
Not from here, no, but you do know that obviously the road back over leads to that closed gate.
Alright.
While Apricot is busy shimmying up trees and trying to sort of do a watch the or the Dilk and I see sort of like gig over there, I think, was it me or Ravenheart who sort of said, "Oh, should we bury the body?" Whichever one of you guys it is who said it, Mal kind of like looks over to you guys and she kind of like nods and she's like, Yeah, I mean, I guess we better give poor bastard some kind of last rites or something. You're like a holy man, right? You got any words you could say for this bloke?
What does he look like? What kind of race is he? Can I tell?
He's human, yeah.
He was human, which doesn't make him very good because humans. But I'm sure he tried very hard. He lived a good life, and he was eaten by wolves. Amen.
Most
Amen.
likely.
Cheers.
Amen.
You're doing strange things with the dynamic lighting there.
Yeah, I was trying to sort out dynamic lighting for this token, but when I do that, it basically just reveals the entire map, so I'm just going to use fog instead, the fog of war.
After Gilroy finishes saying his words, Mal's kind of like nods and just like, yeah, praise be to the sovereign host, I guess.
You are here. That's funny.
Who's on the other side is a nice one.
Kellamore will judge him fairly, I believe.
What kind of grave shall we give this man? Stone grave above the ground.
We could just get 2 twigs and put them in a cross. That usually works. Well, not 2 twigs, but sticks.
Should we
So bears.
should we spend the time to bury him, or should we leave him here and let the animals take care of that?
I mean, don't know if you guys have dug the grave, but it's thankless work.
So
Either way, he'll return to nature. So.
That's a good point.
fertilize the soil. Just in case. Plant seed.
I say we spare us the time, as grim as that may sound, and move swiftly on. I'd rather not encounter the thing that did that to him.
That's a
That
fair
is a good
point.
point.
Said our words. Already. Get any worse for him, can it?
Well, I hope not.
So we're leaving this poor fellow and then continuing along the road, are we?
I think so. Is Apricot down from the tree yet?
Well, I was just about to ask, are you leaving before or after?
Me attempts to shake the apricot down from the tree.
Does he just walk up to the tree and just sort of like grab it with both hands?
Attempts to shake it.
Bless him.
Like trying to
Okay.
get a loose apple from a low branch, just like, come on.
It's okay, tree.
Look at that. Time's over.
With the road itself continues on for about another half. Kind of sorry?
Oh, I was gonna reply to the shaking of the tree.
Ah.
If I'm not down yet.
Yeah, go for it.
Like, hold your sphinxes. I'm getting down.
Sphinxes.
I promise it's not us. It's well, I say it's not us. It's not most of us.
Realize that,
Look on the bright side. If you do fall, you'll fall on me.
That's a good point.
she, 2 seconds. I need to make a roll to see if I do a stupid or a clever. That's a clever. Awesome. So, once she gets, about 6 foot off the ground, and she does like she swings off one of the low branches and does a little flip and lands quite well off the bottom.
Cool.
I did an acrobatics check, it was pretty good. 21 total, so I did a pretty good acrobatics jump off the bottom of the ledge and kind of lands
and it falls and hits me in the head.
Gilroy takes out a piece of paper and writes 9.8 and holds it up.
Malcolm like applauds.
She smiles and kind of straight, but I will point out that she slightly adjusts her hair as she gets back down.
Megan looks up at the tree wondering where the car went.
I will point out there wasn't much up there but mist.
You did get a sense of time when you were up there as well, being able to see the sky a bit more clearly, and you think it's about late afternoon at the moment.
But the sky was quite pretty with the sun.
Oh.
I think we should continue along the road. There's got to be something we're heading for, right?
I mean, I'm hoping for a town, but I mean, going off that letter, maybe there's not a town left to find.
I mean, they did say they would meet when they've, but I don't think they meant burn the town down, so the road must lead somewhere.
Serious question.
Down village. Down village. I still want to buy something.
Adam kind of points back towards the Rava.
What?
I think he was the recipient, or the lad who sends the messages, the messenger. I think he was the messenger.
I mean, no way of knowing he's dead. But we can ask him. I mean, he was kind of in the middle of nowhere, so maybe maybe that means he was the messenger.
That seems the most logical.
So that letter never reached its final destination.
I wonder who it's going to.
For thought.
We're not going to find out standing here.
That's true.
Words.
Onwards it is, yeah. So the road goes for about a half mile before you actually come out of the woods properly. And you don't see any more trees further ahead. You do see off in the far distance, though, if I can get the right tool, what appears to be... for goodness sake, come on. There we go. If I just do this, that. It's about, I think it's about a mile away from here or so. Just under 2 miles away. So it is very, very small and very far off in the distance. But you do think you see what appears to be buildings of some description.
Civilization.
Wonderful.
I mean, we've not met the people yet. I think we'll hold any judgment about whether it's civilization or not till we've found them.
That's a good point. But it's not trees.
Yeah.
Something to aim for. Shall we? Guess we keep going.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it takes you about 45 minutes or so to get to the point where these tall shapes just start looming out of the dense fog that surrounds everything. And the muddy ground underfoot actually gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. And as you keep continuing on, the tall shapes become recognizable as actual village dwellings. And the windows of each house just staring out from pools of blackness. No sound cuts the silence except for mournful sobbings that echo through the streets from a distance.
And Venom's cloven feet clip-clopping against the cobblestones.
Oh, I take what I said back. What I said about it being civilization. You were right.
Can anyone else hear that sound?
Oh,
Like-
everyone can hear that, the mournful sobbing, yeah.
Which sound are you referring to?
the crying person. You know, the one that sounds like maybe
Oh.
that they need help.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, nothing here. Might as well move on.
I mean, we're here. We might as well check they're all right, right? I mean, there's vampires and wolves and whatever else is out there, and we've got nothing else to do.
that's true. I've got no direction. Maybe
right.
this will give us some kind of.
That's right. Well, vampires.
Whereabouts is this mournful crying coming from in terms of where we are currently?
So you're just on the edge of the village itself, just entering, and it's coming from somewhere ahead of you. You're not quite sure exactly where, though.
I guess Mal kind of like makes a sort of motion with her head, and she sort of like starts to walk off. You know, looking for it. Not sort of like briskly. She's kind of like cautiously looking around her as she walks, just to see if anyone's gonna try and get the jump on them.
Okay.
Gilly will follow carefully behind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Luke roll another perception to see if he picks up on the sound and tries to locate it. I've also just noticed mastiffs have keen hearing and smell, meaning they have advantage on checks.
Yes, they will do.
I'm gonna go for a quick roll. That's a 2.
Yeah, advantage.
Good start.
17 plus 3, that's a 20.
That's better, yeah. So at first, Luke's just kind of listening. He has to give his head a bit of a shake because the noise just seems to be coming from all around. But then he manages to actually pick up and pinpoint which direction the sound is coming from, and he'll run straight off ahead in this direction.
I will follow closely behind.
Okay.
April runs after Luke, and April just kind of sighs and starts walking after them with her much longer legs and stride that is somehow not faster than a human. Like, she still has 30 foot of movement, but I feel like she should have more because she's bigger. But, you know.
Yeah, so you follow follow Luke through the streets, and as you're kind of following him, you notice that most of the properties that you're going past, they're all boarded up. Shops are closed up with boards on the windows and doors, and even houses have all got boarded up windows and doors. And across almost every single building, there's just claw marks up and down the building. As you're heading further along, and then you end up in this little square on in the middle of the village here. And off to your left, you notice what appears to be a shop, and it has a sign proclaiming it to be Bildrath's Mercantile. And then on the right hand side, you see just a single shaft of light illuminating the main square from this building. And the brightness itself looks like just a solid pillar in the heavy fog. And above the gaping doorway, a sign which is hanging precariously askew proclaims this building to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern. And Luke is heading down over from here. He's heading off to the left.
So as we're sort of walking, sorry, just before we actually get there, just because something caught my attention as you were describing it. So those claw marks, as we're sort of walking past all these buildings, large, small, quantity.
You could fit your finger inside a single claw mark. You could literally trail your fingers across these claw marks.
Cool. So the same size as a person's hand. This is not good.
Perhaps a little bigger, but yeah.
As we're passing the claw marks, Mal kind of like does sort of like trail her fingers through them a little bit, and then she sort of looks back at Ravenheart, and she's kind of like, "You're like a woodsy kind of person, yeah?"
I would consider myself so.
Any idea what made these? Because I'm really not liking the size.
I can have a closer look. While I say that, I call Luke back so he doesn't run too far ahead.
Okay.
All right. Perception or nature or
This would be an investigation check.
investigation. Okay. All these dice need to go to the naughty dice corner. Four.
Oh.
Can I give an assist on the investigations since I'm standing looking at them already anyway?
Yeah, you can kind of compare notes and get advantage that way.
Yeah, okay, you can roll an advantage then.
Give me 1 second. I'm picking out a different bag of dice.
Smart.
Do you ever think it's weird all those little superstitions we have about dice, even though, technically speaking, there's going to be no difference between this bag of dice?
Yep.
Oh no, these are naughty. There's no doubt about it.
They deserve dice prison.
I told you.
It's on the card.
I told you. I rolled a 19. I picked out new ones again.
Yeah.
Starts to enter the shop, attempting to ram the door down.
Oh, no.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. So you were going into the shop, was that? Sorry.
Search for coins.
Sorry, what is it you're doing there?
Attempt to get into the shop in search of coins.
All right. With the shop labelled as Bildrath's Mercantile, that one is actually open, essentially. It's the one shop in this village that actually has remained in business. You can see some sparse light coming from behind drawn heavy curtains. So you could just open the door and walk in. A little bell tinkles as you walk in there. Ravenheart, with your 19 on that investigation roll, the two of you kind of look there and you're comparing notes and things like that and thinking of all these creatures or what it could possibly be. But the more you look at them, the more that they actually resemble werewolf claw marks.
Oh. I'm just imagining, because Malika is not an outdoorsy kind of person, that her contribution to this is just her throwing out increasingly wild suggestions, and Ravenheart's just like, no.
Yeah,
so
is it a kitten?
Panther? No. Dinosaur? No.
See this once more. Ignore my PFP.
So, let's just say we've arrived at werewolf, right? Werewolf, possibly. Claws are big. We've seen vampires, werewolves, maybe.
Most
Not
likely.
sure, but it does make me slightly mistrust that wailing.
Yeah, werewolves. Not a good thing where I'm from.
While I say that, I begin gripping Luke by his harness a little bit tighter than before.
Okay.
It's just, I think we should push on, but have your wits about you. This might not be the best situation.
I mean, we started low. Bar already seems to be going lower.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Can werewolves still convert back to human form?
Yes. They have three forms. You have wolf form, hybrid form, and human form.
Oh,
Mm.
I didn't know about hybrid. That's kind of cool.
Okay, so that enforces some of my story.
Yeah. So essentially, obviously the human form just looks normal, looks like a normal human. You wouldn't tell the difference from them. The wolf form looks exactly like a wolf, although albeit slightly larger. And the hybrid form is like a wolf on two legs, essentially, but human size.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Fun.
Speaking of
Going
which,
towards
Ravenheart will have an anti-bird brain moment, and I've just pieced this together. Those wolf tracks. If we have a werewolf problem, which we might do, might not have been a wolf at all.
Oh.
You think that our werewolf's responsible for that poor guy we found back there? Then, yeah.
Possibly.
Perhaps.
Poor fellow. What a way to go. Oh. I suppose there are
Right.
worse ways, though.
There are
You could
worse.
get stuck in a strange land.
I'd say the bastards lucky if they didn't leave.
All right. So werewolf, vampire, potential killer on the loose. I agree. I think this called for a drink. I'm with our friend over there.
Oh, you know,
At least
so
we should get out, get inside, and not out. Probably safer inside.
okay. So, May, were you going into the mercantile, into the shop? Yeah.
I was going to the shop, yes.
Yeah. So as you walk in, as I said, the little bell tinkles as you open the door and you walk in, and you see essentially just a load of shelves and things like that loaded with random gear, and you see everything is labelled with a price, but it seems to be at least 10 times the price of what you would expect to pay for it anywhere else. And behind the counter at the end, you see this human man stood there, who's fairly portly. He's a fairly chubby man, but he's about maybe 6 foot tall. And he just kind of looks up as you come in. Well, hello there. How might I help you?
Do we have any daggers?
Any what, sorry?
Any daggers?
Daggers? Well, I've never been asked for daggers before. I suppose I might have some somewhere lying about. Yeah, so he'll rummage around behind the counter itself, because you don't see any daggers on the main shop area. And he pulls out a couple of daggers. And he says, there we go. These what you're looking for.
Whoa, one dagger.
Just the one? Not a problem. There we go. 20 gold for you.
I now regret requesting for daggers because if he's evil and won't let me get out of the shop without purchasing anything, he could use them on me instantly.
The cutthroat world of
Oh.
I forget how much do I have in my bag then. How many coins?
Let's take a quick peek. Where did I save it? I saved it somewhere. There it is. So you have 11 gold, 12 silver, 43 copper, and you also have 4 gems worth 10 gold apiece.
I asked for just one of the daggers.
Yeah, 1 dagger, 20 gold.
I give him 10 gold coins and 1 gem.
So he looks at the gem and he kind of literally holds it up and studies it for what appears to be the longest time, and then he kind of puts it between his teeth and then just bites down a little bit, and when it doesn't break in his teeth, yeah, that'll do. There you go. And then hands over the dagger to you.
I'm legit now terrified. No, if I
And
didn't
has
have
gems in the same way he does coins.
No. That happened.
Most
Sir, you're going to break your teeth.
Heading back out of the shop now, are you?
I turn my back and just walk out. Once I'm halfway through the door, I just sprint out.
Cool. So the rest of you just see me just sprinting away from this shop, as if he's fearful for his life. What's everyone going to do now?
Is me running towards us when he runs out the shop?
Yes.
I guess as me
Oh.
comes sprinting towards us, like
With a
like
dagger
the
in his
hands
hand
of
as well.
Sort of following. Mal kind of like Mal kind of looks him up and down, and she's like, "You all right? Where's the fire?"
No fire.
That's good.
Right. And
There's a shop over there. Creepy old man.
Oh.
I mean, define creepy, because I mean, there's creepy and there's creepy. And I mean, I've met my fair share of both, so you know.
Seems creepy is not in short supply.
Like creepy noise and the one you would just get the hell out of there for.
Oh.
But he didn't like hurt you or nothing.
No.
Oh.
Alright. I mean, drink?
The best suggestion we've made since we've got here.
Alright, so I guess we're heading to the tavern.
Okay. So you head across to where the tavern is, just off to the top here, and you can't help but notice that as you actually get closer to the tavern itself, something looks off with the sign. So from a distance, you can quite clearly see it's Blood on the Vine Tavern. But when you do get closer there, you notice that an N has actually been scratched over one of the letters. So it looks like it used to read Blood of the Vine Tavern.
Did you say the sign was broken?
It's kind of like hanging haphazardly on its things. It's still there and it's still intact, but yeah, you just see this N has been scratched over the F of Blood of the Vine Tavern. So it now reads Blood on the Vine.
How high up is this sign?
The sign is only about 11 foot high. It's just above the door itself.
So Apricot kind of looks at the sign and she kind of looks around and she goes over to Bebe and she kind of starts moving some of the steel that she's made out of, and it still keeps the rough shape but creates an almost level platform where she then stands on said platform and starts trying to work on the sign to make it hang more level with her tools.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can certainly do that. It's just a bit of a loose hinge, essentially, as it's called, and it's just kind of dropped off. So yeah, you could tighten up the hinge and then rehang the sign so it's hanging straight.
And then when she gets back down, she kind of changes, the steel that's winding that creates Bebe back to its original position, and he just kind of smiles, looking around at everyone else. Isn't that much better?
The entire time, Venom is leaning like one arm on the quarterstaff, just like.
Me looks at Mel with questionable face.
Yeah, Mal's just kind of there, like she's sort of mentally cataloguing this away as a fact that she now knows about Apricot, which she can use for both good and evil should she choose in the future. Kind of like finding a way, like Apricot likes things to be neat.
She likes to fix things because she's very. And you've also noticed that Bebe is very malleable. She can just bend it to her will. Just
again, another thing that she's finding a way for using her brain later for either good or evil purposes.
3 drinks for fixing the sign.
It's the same.
well, we'll see. So
you know how? Sorry.
Apricot goes in with Baby. intending to just not expect anything, just tell the person who owns the bar that she fixed the sign.
Can I ask a question before we follow her into the bar? You know the crying that we heard when we walked into the village? Have we been able to hear that the whole time while we've been following the path to the bar?
Yes, that is pretty much constant. Yeah.
Okay. And have we been getting closer to it? Or...
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Good to know.
Does it sound like it's coming from the bar?
No, it's definitely not coming from the bar.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know what to do.
I mean, on the one hand, drink, which I think we all need. On the other hand, cry in person. I feel like if it was in the bar, it would probably be louder.
Maybe somebody in the bar will know about the crying.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Go into the bar, we get a round of drinks, and we question some commoners, and then we go and find out what they're crying.
I like
I
that.
mean, I guess. I suppose if the crying were urgent, you know, it would be a bit more like screaming, I guess.
Or we could go to
It's kind of like a slow, mournful wail rather than like a. You know, it's
Not a death wail. That's
no.
quick question about the bar. Can we hear the sounds of commotion inside, or is it quiet?
It's fairly quiet. Yeah.
Okay.
So Apricot goes in, flanked by this monstrosity that she's created, and goes up to the barman and says, "I would just like to inform whoever owns this establishment, I have kindly fixed your sign."
I'm hoping this is not the same person that was in the shop earlier.
Spoilers,
it's
Barrovia
not.
has exactly one person every single time.
Just teleports from building to building. Yeah, so no, this is definitely a different person. So as you walk in the bar, you only see 4 people in the bar itself. Sorry, 5 people even. So you see the barkeep behind the bar, and he's just standing there, just cleaning a glass. There's one man sitting alone in the corner, and there are 3 women who are dressed completely differently to the other 2 people in the bar. So the other 2 people are kind of wearing like grey, white clothes. They're not very fancily dressed, whereas these 3 women picture like traditional gypsy dresses and things like that. That's what these women are wearing, very kind of bright colours and things like that, and that's how these women are dressed. And they're the only ones making any noise at all, and they're just sitting having a hushed conversation between themselves. As you approach the barkeep, he doesn't pay you any attention at all. And when you mention about the fixing the sign, he just kind of looks up, grunts at you, and then goes back to cleaning his glasses. He just cleans one glass and then puts that one down and picks up the next. He's only got about a half dozen glasses on the bar. And if you stay there long enough, you'll notice when he gets to the end, he puts that one down and then starts again and just picks up the next glass and cleans it and puts it back, and he just repeats that.
So it's just perpetually cleaning the glasses?
Yeah.
Can I do an Arcana check to see if he's being like manipulated or something?
Sure, go for it.
How's your baby progressing?
That's later. So even with the 12, you can tell that there is no signs of magic at all influencing this man.
Alright. Are you alright? She looks a bit concerned.
He just grunts again.
Are you going to clean them all day, or are you going to use them?
They need cleaned.
Have the rest of us walked into the bar by this point? I know that Apricot was ahead of us.
I would
assume
imagine
that
so,
we've
yeah.
probably come in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hold it.
I will say Venom did wait outside and kind of gestured everybody inside. And then once the last person was in,
Yeah.
the staff around and knocked the sign.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you guys do notice as well when you walk in that the four customers of the bar, these three women and this one man, they are all paying very close attention to BB. Apricot, you wouldn't have noticed since you literally went straight to the barkeep, but they are all avidly watching BB. They've never seen a creature like this before.
What kind of look are they giving Bobo? Is it like a look of suspicion, or is it more interest? And what is the hostility to curiosity ratio here?
There doesn't seem to be any hostility. They're just more curious as to what this creature is, kind of thing.
Okay.
While Reverend Hart walks in, he also just makes a sort of beeline for the barkeep. Just, are animals allowed in here, or?
To the barkeep?
Yeah.
He just grunts to that.
He just grunts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's his primary mode of communication.
Well, I'll take that as a yes. Just sort of look at Luke and pet him once. Do you perhaps have anything with bases of root?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Any sort of beverage made of roots?
Mm.
Something
It's
else?
Glass of wine, 1 copper. A pitcher of wine, 1 silver.
Ooh.
I'll take a glass.
And then he stops cleaning the glasses and then takes one of the other ones that he's been cleaning, tops it up with wine, puts it onto the bar, and then holds out his hand for the copper.
Right. I'll just take the glass of wine and we'll head outside, actually.
Cool, yeah, so he'll drop the copper just into a jar that's behind the bar, and then he'll go back to cleaning his glasses.
Mal walks over to the bar and she nods at the barkeep and she grunts.
He just grunts in return. Mm.
Looks almost confused at this communication. She just
Speak his
she
language.
is proficient with.
Mal kind of mutters to go away under her breath. Do I speak disgruntled barkeep? I mean, I've been in my fair share of bars.
Ask him where everyone is.
So, when you in town, mate, wondering if we could get our bearings, seems like this place has seen better days, if you don't mind me saying.
Hmm.
Is that a grunt of affirmation, or is it more of a grunt of disapproval?
It's just a generic grunt.
A generic grunt.
Yeah, you don't get the sense that he's agreeing with you or indicating any kind of response. He's just grunting.
It's like a grunt of acknowledgement.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it acknowledges the question, but just doesn't really answer it at all.
Mal has a feeling she's probably not going to get much out of this barkeep, given his track record of behaviour so far. So she sort of goes, fair, all right. Drinks wise, are we just stuff a glass of wine, pitcher of wine, or do we have a bit more variety on the menu?
Glass of wine, 1 copper. Pitcher of wine, 1 silver.
Is there anything else than wine?
Nope.
You're not the best conversationalist, are you?
Yeah, he grunts again.
Alright, I'll take a pitcher of wine, please, and let's say 5 glasses.
Okay, so he puts down the glass that he's cleaning, grabs a pitcher from underneath the bar, fills it with wine, and then holds out his hand.
Mal reaches into her coin purse and she drops the money into his hand.
And then he drops that into the jar behind him, and then upends 5 of the glasses that he's cleaning. He's only got 2 glasses left now, but he still continues to clean those 2 glasses.
Right, quick, while I'm outside with my glass of wine, I will procure a yew leaf from my component pouch
Okay.
and cast detect poison and disease at first level.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Good choice.
Yeah, so I believe that's a casting time of 1 action, is it?
Yeah, cast
Yeah.
one action.
So yeah, you cast that spell and you don't get any kind of response at all from it. So there's no poison or anything else in the glass. It's just wine.
Okay, I take a small sip.
Yeah. So you take a sip of the wine, and it doesn't taste like the best wine, but it certainly doesn't taste bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Apricot gives up on the barkeep and has a look, and finally actually looks around at everybody else and notices they're looking at Baby.
Yeah, it's at that point you notice that everyone's looking at Baby. Yeah.
She kind of gives a little, not to help her case, but a very high class sort of wave.
Are you thinking sort of like this kind of thing, or just sort of like a
like kind of a sideways, crest of a wave sort of sideways hello.
oh yeah, sort of like
I don't have a stationary thing, but yeah, she's kind of like, oh hello.
As you acknowledge the onlookers, they immediately go back to just drinking their wine. So the 3 ladies go back to their conversation in hushed tones, and the gentleman in the corner just looks down at his glass and then starts sipping away again.
Mal grabs her pitcher and her empty glasses, and she kind of nudges any of the party who happen to be nearby, and she jerks her head over towards the people in the corner, and she's like, "But first rule of trying to get information out of people: buy him a drink." And then she saunters over to the table.
She'll pick up some of the cups and carry them with her, so she's not carrying everything.
Okay.
Mal appreciates this. She kind of like actually offers Gilroy like a smile and a nod. It's a very genuine smile.
So which table is it you're going over to?
So remind me who we've got in the bar. There's the people dressed in sort of brightly coloured Romany garb. And
Yeah.
who else was there?
It's just a lone man sat in the corner by himself.
Okay. I think I'm going to go for the brightly coloured ladies because they seem like more fun.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so you walk over to them, and as you kind of reach their table, they all look up. Can we help you?
Well, when you're in town, my friends and me, kind of got here through a bit of unconventional means, you might say, and we're just looking to get the lay of the land. You don't mind me saying so, it looks like this place has seen better days. We're hoping we had some locals could shed some light on it for us, and if it helps, I've got wine. And she puts the pitcher on the table.
Wine is always appreciated. This place has indeed seen better days. You should see it in its heyday. This is our tavern. We own this tavern. But unfortunately, the people have mostly died in this village. Not many left.
Is it due to the werewolf? We saw the claw marks.
Werewolves, vampires. It's a mix, really.
And this sort of werewolf and vampire problem you're having, recent or more ongoing problem, would you say?
Oh, this has been going on for a few hundred years now. The people of Barrovia have gotten used to the problem, as you say.
Barrovia, is that the name of where we are?
It is the name of this village and the name of these lands. You are in the lands of Barrovia, and this is the village of Barrovia.
But at least we know where we are now.
Well, that's some
there-
good branding.
Are there other places we can go to in this land?
There are several, should you choose. You could always visit the Castle Ravenloft and visit our Lord Strahd von Zarovich, or you could go maybe to the village, they say the town of Valaki, or Kresk, of course. And, well, of course, there's the Wizard of Wines, where we get our wine from.
Don't suppose you've got a map, do you?
I don't, dearie, no.
Can you draw us one?
Oh, I'm afraid I don't leave this village quite well enough to know the map of the lands itself. I haven't left this town in at least 150 years.
Oh.
Venom turns tail. She's walking right over towards the strange load sliding to a seat other time.
Okay.
Guards.
So he kind of looks up nervously at you and then back down to his pint straight. His glass straight away.
Don't be shy. I don't bite. Unless you want me to. Spreads out the cards on the table.
So he just kind of looks up and what are you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so rude. It's just we don't really get visitors here that often.
It's quite alright. I'm used to people being rude around me. Sorry. Get my words mixed up when I'm pissed. Would you like to play?
I'm afraid I don't know much about card games or any games really.
Alright. It's a game of chance. Teach you how to play.
Are you about to do 3-card Monday
Any
on this
card.
guy?
Well,
No.
yes.
So the deck is kind of split out across the table.
Okay.
Just kind of gestures to it and says, pick a card. I'll pick a different card. If mine's higher, you give me some information. Higher, I buy you a drink.
What kind of information would you be looking for?
Anything you can give me.
Well, be more specific and they'll give you more.
This, I think perhaps, if this truly is a game of chance, then perhaps we might adjust it slightly. If you win, I will give you any information you desire, but if I win, perhaps you wouldn't mind helping me with a problem I have.
Sounds curious.
And he'll reach over and he'll pull a card.
Alright.
And you know what the best thing is, actually, speaking of cards, I actually have here a deck of cards.
To rock a deck.
This actually isn't a Taraka deck. This is an actual, genuine deck of cards. Why didn't that work?
Huzzah.
What?
Oh wow, cool.
What the hell?
Down at it every couple of 7 minutes.
On the table, yet they're not showing on the table. What the fuck?
I see him.
I didn't see them.
Yeah, see him either.
Tell you what, we'll go on to this one, which is a blank one, and we should be able to see one there. Everyone should be able to, hopefully. Not.
Chickens.
Recall. That's possibly why. Let's try that. No, that's not working for me either. Why isn't this working?
It's working.
If
It's really strange. Yeah.
If it's not the sound, it's something else.
Yeah.
Always something. Yeah, let's try this.
So I can tell what they are.
There we go. That worked. Right.
I can see them as well. So.
Recall. Let's just recall them. There we go. So we'll deal them face down. So this one's mine. And then if you put a card over to the right hand side.
Ooh. I would like to draw one card, please. Thank you.
Sure, and then we flip the card, and I can't see it.
Oh my
They're both
goodness.
kings.
For some reason, the face-up cards are not showing on my screen. What were they?
King of diamonds versus the king of clubs.
Oh.
So
They're both, yeah.
That's hilarious.
I think this deck's been shuffled very well.
Well, now what do you do? Do you give information and a drink?
Seems fair, right?
Go again.
They keep at their belt, and fill it with a shot's worth of whatever is in their wineskin. Slide it over.
Okay. So he'll take that. Oops, that's no, that's the right one. I just zoomed in a bit too far. There we go. Yeah, so he'll take that and he'll take a sip from it, and kind of gives an appreciative nod. Is it? What information were you looking for?
Well, the most important information you have.
I'm afraid I don't have much of importance to share with us. Not much goes on around here. Occasionally we get visited by the Devil Strahd, but beyond that, life is quite morose here.
Right. So, quiet little town in the middle of a forest, guarded by mist, paraded by werewolves, is very quiet. I have to say that doesn't sound quite right.
There aren't many people left here, mostly all dead, unfortunately. Which brings me to my little problem I wonder if you could help with. My name is... oh, hang on, let's get this right.
Pulls out his notebook.
My name is Ismark. My sister is Irina. And, well, I'm ashamed to say that I was unable to protect her from the Devil Strahd. He came and he attacked my sister, and I would much like to get her to safety. I do not think that I alone am capable of ensuring her safe departure from this village. I wonder if you and your friends might be able to help me in that regard.
Can we hear what he's saying at the other
Yeah, I was
table?
about to say, like, is this audible from the other table?
It wouldn't be, no.
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's funny that you say that, because we discovered a corpse at the side of the road on our way in, holding a letter regarding one Irina.
My father's letter, you found it. That means the message did not get out to where it was intended to go. I'm afraid the man who wrote that letter, my father, the burgomaster of this village, I'm afraid he passed away some days ago from an attack of werewolves. I am now the burgomaster here. But I do
She
dearly...
will scoot out of the seat. Friends! We have a lead. She will call over to the rest of the group.
Who's actually got the letter on them at the moment? Did we decide who kept a hold of it?
It
It's
could
me
be
still got it,
anyone
okay.
who... Yeah.
Okay, cool. Me, come over here. We need you. Haha, see what I did there?
Do you need me or do you need him?
Oh, the fun we shall have.
Fully expecting it.
It just reminds me of when you go out with you and all the jokes they put through 10 seasons of that with.
Yes.
Let's start with me.
All the jokes. Don't forget. Don't stop.
I'm hoping we don't get caught up in the jokes, to be honest.
If you didn't want jokes, you wouldn't have named your character a reason for jokes.
It's true.
I mean, let's be fair. Like we have a party full of at least 4 people who enjoy veering off into all kinds of shenanigans. So this was doomed from the
They named my
outset.
character just for jokes.
Pretty much.
So what lead did you find?
Our lovely friend here, who I don't think gave me a name, is
He gave you the name Ismark.
Lover?
It's his sister. So this is Ismark, and his sister is Irina.
Ismark or Bismarck? Like
Ismark. ISMARK.
Okay.
Ismark. Mr. Ismark, these are my friends.
Hello.
Hey, incredible.
So when Venom introduces them, Apricot gives him another wave and a smile, whereas Bebe kind of goes up a little bit, sniffs almost like a dog, and then makes the very lovely sound.
Ismark kind of shrinks away from this as much as he can.
Yeah.
Is it possible that Ravenheart has heard that noise from outside?
Oh, Baby's
Oh,
quite
baby, here. Ravenheart would have heard Venom calling over to everybody.
that too.
All right. So I just have a little peek inside and just sort of like poke my head through the door, look around, and just back out again.
Okay.
Matt, just so we know where we're all at, Mal hasn't actually left the table that they were sitting at before, so she's kind of let the rest of you guys go over to see what the crack is over there, and she's going to try and get some more information out of these people.
Okay. Just make a perception check then.
Okay. Perception. Just refreshing my memory of my character sheet. Give me a moment. It's been so long. Full 7 days.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, my dudes. Right, okay.
That's felt like a long week, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Just the anxiety of waiting.
That's a 7 plus 7. So that's 14.
Okay, so as you kind of look back, so you kind of look over and you see everyone going over there, and then you look back to these 3 women, and you're not quite sure, but you think for the briefest of moments, one of them had a scowl on their face as they were looking over at Ismark, but then it smooths over again instantly.
Meanwhile, Apricot is trying to keep, it's not even bothering to, with letting Bebe just run wild, because she knows she's not gonna hurt the man, despite, and doesn't realize that everyone thinks that this is a very scary design. This is normal to her. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay. She's just acting like, proper.
I kind of imagine it as like people with pet snakes and that. They don't realise that people who are mortally afraid of snakes. They're just like, well, why would you be afraid of this thing? It's beautiful.
Yeah, basically. She's not sure why he's trying to shrink away.
Yeah.
This is Bebe being friendly.
Aww.
It just, to her, it sounds, like a very happy noise, but to everyone else, it's, probably not. So, you can help us with what is it?
Well, I was rather hoping you'd be able to help me, as it so happens.
how can we help you?
With my sister. I desperately need to get her away from this village.
Oh, where do you need her to go?
Well, I had thought of perhaps Vallaki. Vallaki is a walled town and far away from that drastic castle that overlooks us.
Could we take her there? And I'll look at the rest of the party. Is that something we could do? Help this man with his daughter?
His sister.
I'm still
Sister?
muted. Hello.
Sorry.
We barely know where we are. Once we
Do you
find
have a
out,
map of this land
get a
that we
sort
could
of
use?
area.
I don't have a map, but I could certainly act as guide to guide us all to Vallaki. Perhaps somewhere in Vallaki would have a map of this land.
He just leaves the ball.
Hmm. Can
Malaki sounds like a positive hotspot.
you tell me who the vampire we saw was?
The only vampire I know of around here would be the Devil's Strahd.
That name again, it keeps coming up and I don't like it.
He is the lord of this land, and he's a tyrant. Wants to take my sister away from me. I cannot allow it.
Hmm.
What exactly are you offering for us to transport you? Your sister, you said?
I'm afraid I don't have much in the way of gold, but whatever I do have is yours to take if you get my sister to safety.
Perhaps you know of a way home, out of this land. We were all brought here under rather mysterious circumstances. I would like to get back to where I came from. I don't know about anyone else.
I'm afraid there is no way I know of to get out of this land. Anyone who goes into the mists is never seen again. Perhaps the Vistani, they are rumoured to come and go as they please.
To who?
The Vistani.
Oh, I've never heard of them before.
They are a travelling folk. They set up in their wagons and come with their music and their merry mix. They are rumoured to be able to leave Barrovia and come and go as they please. Other than that, only Strahd himself controls the border.
Then perhaps we need to talk to this Strahd character.
Talk, yeah.
Where does he reside?
Well, in the castle, of course.
Castle?
He kind of points in a direction north of you, as if you'll see it somehow. But he kind of points up over to that direction, up and north.
Hmm.
Surely you saw the castle when you arrived in the village?
Did we see the castle?
You don't recall seeing a castle. You were too focused on the buildings and the crying woman.
Fair enough.
A lot of mist, a lot of fog.
Pretty much.
Plenty of trees.
And a few trees. Right.
Apricot kind of just walks out of the tavern, and has a quick, look out the door, trying to see where this castle is.
So are you just standing at the door or actually going into the street?
Well, she'll kind of lean out the door. If she doesn't see it, she'll kind of walk out into the street a bit more. She's not too far.
Yeah, so as you kind of clear the building, you do notice a cliff face to the north of the village. And on the very top of the cliff itself, you do see what you think could be the side of a castle.
Okay. So then once she notices it, she'll come outside.
So at the table with the ladies, when the rest of the party goes over to the table with the lone man, and Mal notices the one of them sort of like smile.
Yeah.
She kind of clocks this, and she sort of like watches the party for a bit, drinks her wine, and after a moment, she nods over to the table, and she's like, "So that gent over there, guessing by the fact that he's all on his lonesome, not a friend of yours?"
Most definitely not. No.
Mind telling me about him? You know, like I say, we're all strangers here. You should probably know a bit about who we can and can't trust.
That is Ismark, a most unpleasant fellow. He does not agree with our Lord Strahd.
So what did he do to you?
If
you don't mind me asking, that is.
He has done nothing to us, but he defies Lord Strahd and would see his downfall if he could.
Right, and this Strahd character, he the one who lived in that big castle you were talking about, what was it, Ravenloft?
Castle Ravenloft, yes. Yes, a most delightful place.
Delightful, right. I mean, but hope you don't mind my saying so. I mean, I have only been here a few hours, but so far, there's not much about Barrovia that seemed very delightful, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, the castle is very lavishly decorated. It is a most beautiful place. And the perfect place for our lord and master to reside.
So this Strahd fellow, you're in good with him, yeah?
He is our lord.
I mean, you keep saying that, but I mean, you know, take where I'm from, Brayland, right? I know the king, but never actually met him in person. Yeah, he's my lord, but that don't necessarily mean I owe him my loyalty outside of what anyone would give.
Oh, well,
but you seem like you kind of hold this Strahd guy in pretty high esteem.
Lord Strahd doesn't leave his castle very often, but when he does grace us with his presence, people seem frightfully afraid of him, but personally I don't see what's so bad.
Right. So, I mean, he's not ever engaged in any behaviour you'd say was, I don't know, uncharitable, maybe even harmful to the people he rules over?
Not at all.
You see it, not at all, you say, huh? And the werewolf problem, is he doing anything about that?
Oh, I don't believe I described werewolves as a problem round here. I believe you used that term.
I mean, again, come from another place far away from here. I mean, not big on my history, but from what I remember, a few hundred years ago, there was a big problem with werewolves. I mean, like, massive problem, and they stamped down pretty hard on that, so you can imagine people don't tend to take on them kindly where I'm from.
The werewolves around here answer to Lord Strahd. They do his bidding.
And that includes, what, attacking people who may or may not be on their way out of Barrovia?
Any enemy of Lord Strahd, the werewolves would promptly deal with.
Right. I mean, I suppose that's good security, if you can find it. So, that guy over there, political dissident, you guys fine upstanding citizens, I'm guessing?
But of course, we run this establishment.
Right. Well, suppose I better go rescue my friends over there from any unsavoury connections, you might say. Rest of the pitch is yours, ladies. It's been a pleasure. And Mal hops down from her seat and she walks over to the others. And who's nearest the back of the group?
Probably by the time you come over, Apricot's just ducking back inside from the castle.
And before we have that one, we'll end it there. With two very conflicting views on Lord Strahd von Zarevich.
Oh, I mean, Mal doesn't trust anything that came out of his looks. Like, as soon as they were like, oh yes,
Lord Strahd's great.
Lord Strahd's great. He's got like the more that came out of their mouth, Mal's just like,
You're not in a cult at all.
You see, the problem is I wasn't in there, so I shouldn't comment on it, but I do recall them saying they've been here for the past 150 years.
Yes.
I have a hunch.
Yeah. See, I find it's really interesting, like how our different characters' backgrounds would conflict, like what they do with that information. Because Mal's kind of there, like, oh yeah, like we've got like undead elves on another continent, and they really long lived. So yeah, 150 years, that tracks. Maybe they're just really long lived. But like, I don't know anything about these people. Whereas like the other people in the party are like,
He just doesn't care.
For Vidalcan, that's like not even. That's just middle-aged.
Yeah, true. Yeah, for half elf, I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah, Vidalcan, Apricot's like 80, and she's still childish.
Yeah,
she's
sure.
young. She's Yeah.
And then there's Ravenheart, for whom 150 years is almost thrice his lifetime.
Yep.
Is Ravenheart the shortest lived race that we have in our party? Because
I believe so.
60 years about is when Kenku.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he's a baby.
Very old baby.
Very old baby. An old and distinguished baby.
Oh boy, the next session is going to be fun.
Oh
I'm just imagining Ravenheart walking back into the tavern like Troy with pizza. Like what that was like.
Everything's gone to hell. But I'll just stay outside, actually. I'll be fine.
So how did everyone find the session today then?
This is great.
Good. We're learning.
Fun.
Scary.
Yeah, definitely fun. I feel like we didn't do very much, but what we did do was extremely fun.
Yeah.
Excited to know where things are going to go with Strahd.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
You must be the creepy one.
Apricot's idea is, I'm going to go talk to him, because that's what we do. I know. I'm the daughter of a really high up dude at home. If I go up to him and be like, hi, I'm Apricot, can you send me home, please? That's not going to go wrong at all.
I can't wait for Mal to break Apricot's naivety next week with nope, Strahd, bad news, werewolves. Don't think this is good.
You a creepy one.
I just love the moment where you dislodge the sign again.
Yeah.
Apricot's good at look at it, look confused, and then you probably fix it again. Just be like,
It's just like,
it did not realise that someone broke it on purpose. She likes to fix things.
That's weird. Must be screwed it tight enough. From.
I'm not sure if you can rearrange the steel defenders the way that I did, but I was just like, I'm sure that Fraser will let me. But
I mean, to be fair, it made a great flavour.
Yeah, I was just like, I think I know Fraser well enough by now that he'll let me do this tiny bit of flavour thing. just for the because I need to know how high up it was because yes, she could probably reach. You know, if she's 6.5 feet tall, she can reach at least 7 foot. But 11, you need a bit of a boost. I was like, can I turn baby into a step ladder? I totally can.
Pretty much. You've probably done it plenty of times doing various things.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why I can't like do that. I mean, if I wanted to do it in it it could be an action, but it's still like possible to just rearrange you slightly. I made you. Your steel is malleable within my tools.
But Baby was probably built with that
Made
purpose in
you
mind as
move
well.
around a bit.
Pardon?
Baby was probably built with that purpose in mind.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
that doesn't surprise me.
So what we'll do, we'll end the stream here. I hope everyone in chat enjoyed today's session. We'll be back again next week at 7 p.m. GMT. I hope to see you all then. For now, we'll draw a raid over to a good friend of mine, Mr. Agent B. Smith, who is also in a D&D game at this particular moment in time. So yeah, we'll go over there and we'll send him some love, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye bye.